All right. All right. Thank you so very much. Welcome to New Global Media. And of course, our guest today is one of the rising and then, of course, brilliant, smart, and of course, iconic lady. My colleague, of course, my former colleagues at the
Mhm.
University of the Gambia. And of course, I'm pretty glad this brilliant, beautiful, and sunny afternoon to join our program today to shed light on the issue related to women in leadership. And thank you so very much, Madam Darboe. Please, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Osman. How are you?
I am pretty good. Welcome, Fanta. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Without much to do, we would like you to tell us who is Fanta, basically a very summary one, so that we can have a lot of issues to answer along the way because the people are waiting. And just
Yes,
to put you through, we have our colleagues in the United States of America.
yes,
Regards to Sam Cisse, Famara Drame, and of course my boss and my technician for today, Mr. Sawane. I thank them sincerely for making this program successful. Fanta, please tell the audience and the viewers who is Fanta and so far. Thank you.
yes. Thank you so much, Osman, for having me. Like you said, we were colleagues from the University of the Gambia. I am Fanta Dabo, from West Coast, Mandinaba. I'm actually a youth activist, but so passionate about gender issues and women empowerment related pattern. I currently work at West African Network for Peace Building as a program assistant for the early warning unit, where we focus on early warning issues that are happening, and then also write recommendation for stakeholders to chip in and then address the issues that are happening. And also, I work with Combat Institute and Children Development Alliance as the executive secretary. We focus on young people issues within the district and beyond. And also, part of my activity, I mean, being an individual who is so passionate about development, I actually also focus more on environment, because it's something that that is a divergent issues. Because if you're talking about peace and security, it has to do with different components. It's a cross-cutting issue. So most of my motivation is drawn from the issues that are happening in my communities, considering the challenges that women face to get to where they are. And today, I can actually say, at least, I am one of the few people that are still continuing the struggle that a lot of people have started. So basically, I think I can stop there, and then we can just continue from other questions.
Oh, thank you so very much, Fanta Dabo. Please tell us about your educational lines, where you started and then so far when you finish, and so far where you are. Tell us your educational track records. I think the viewers would like to hear that. Thank you.
So I started my educational career at Cloro Primary School. So from
Okay.
Cloro, I proceeded to become an upper basic school. And despite the fact that traveling from Mandinaba to Brikama, considering the distance and considering the age and considering the fact that I'm a girl child, it's kind of challenging. But having individuals that surround you, good individual and people that inspires you to be better, grow better, always lead to a greater success. And I can fully recall from my junior school, I went to Masru Senior Secondary School, where I completed my senior level before proceeding to the university. Education as a whole has never been an easy thing. Like I always said, I've actually started with a lot of people, but rather unfortunate, especially in the side of females. A lot of my colleagues, some of them actually, some are married, some have experienced problems, teenage pregnancy, early marriage. But Alhamdulillah, here I am. I feel like those things are unfortunate, but then a lot of things need to be done to address some of those challenges. And from my senior secondary level, I proceeded to the university, where I did development studies. And then I graduated this year with honors from the university, and then being the first child, I mean, girl child in my village to have a bachelor's degree, which is actually something that I'm working towards to ensure that a lot of individuals, those that are not fortunate, to at least have the opportunity to be more than me, because it doesn't actually tell well the entire village being the only first girl child that undergone through educational system without being interrupted. Though we have young people that are coming up, and which is something that I am so happy on, and then I pray the entire thing continues, because education is a power and it can change a lot of things provided opportunities are being given.
Oh, thank you, Sova. I think the girls that are listening, or maybe mothers that are listening at this moment, would be quite very touched to
Yeah.
understand that you are the first to finish with a BSc, the highest level of education at the moment. We hope that you will continue to grab more in school. Am I right, Fanta?
Indeed. Looking forward to the order and
That's
registering organ.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Sure.
That's beautiful. Fanta, without much to do right now, since we have a lot of fishes to fry, I would like us to delve into the topic proper, that is women's in leadership. So far, with the trend of leadership of women in our administration across the board, typically, let's look at the issue of governance, like from the central government level. How impressed are you with regards to women in leadership in some of the big institutions or big places, positions in this country? Are you impressed or you are not impressed?
For me, actually, I am not impressed, because we are talking about governance here, and we are talking about women leadership, and we are also talking about development space here. And if you, for example, you want to talk about statistic where at least 80% of our governance system is controlled by men instead of having that equal opportunity with women, that is something that needs to be looked at, because um, let's start from our National Assembly to going down, because the facts still remain. We have leadership is one of the crucial thing that women can use to address a lot of issues that are happening in the communities. Without being part of the space would be quite difficult for us to address it, because where the decision is being made is where everything should be. But women cannot be at the backside or at home shouting that we want it. But at the end of the day, those that are making decisions are not women. So I'm not that happy. I know activists, women rights organizations are trying their level best to ensure that we advocate for equal representation in all spaces, and also trying to see how best we can empower female leaders to take up leadership positions. But then the issues still remain as a challenge in this country.
Madam Dabo, yeah, considering like you look at the three arms of government,
Mhm.
let's take a case study of the Gambia. Now
So,
let's look at the judiciary. Are you not
mhm.
impressed with the trend of women taking role of becoming a lawyers, solicitors? Like, are you not happy with that? The number is the number speaking volume in the area of judiciary, or are you still not impressed with the judiciary area of women participation there?
So the fact still remains. If we are to compare now to then, we can actually say there's a improvement. At least we've
Okay.
seen female dominating in some space, but a lot needs to be done, because we want to see ourselves, we want to feel ourselves in all angles. It's not about maybe having 10 out of 50 people, 10 female and 40 people, 40 male. What we're saying is we want to see more faces, and we want to see quality faces as well, to ensure that our needs as women, our needs as girls are heard. Are you with me? Hello.
Yes. Apology, please. Apology on that, please. Funda, let's proceed. Can you
Mhm.
continue where you basically stop on the issue of women's participations as far as the judiciary system is concerned? You are impressed with the
Yes.
trend of women's coming up, is quite very different before.
Mhm.
Okay. So now, at this material time,
Mhm.
what are some of the things that women right activists, what are they saying or what are they doing? Because you cannot just, you need to have at least a method or a means of improving the
Mhm.
numbers. So what are they doing basically at this material time?
So, if you look at the women right organization and individuals that are into activism, we don't make laws, but what we do best is to advocate. We see an issue, advocate it, and then when we're doing the advocacy, we do it within the right with on the right channel, because
Okay.
talking about something is one thing, but putting it to the authority that are in line with the issue is another thing. So we ensure that we get to the community, especially something that has to do with participation. We engage the community, do advocacy in the community level. And after doing the advocacy in the community level, the challenges that some of those people face in terms of the things that are limiting them to fully participate in taking up leadership position, we strategize to see how best, what are the needs? Isn't economic needs? Isn't because they lack mentorship? Isn't because the support is not there? These are some of the few things that we looked at. And after that, if it is something that has to do with maybe governance structure, it has to be channeled
Mhm.
towards that. If it is something that has to do with awareness raising, it has to go to the community. If it is something that has to do with economic support, then we have a way to channel that to maybe partners that have interest in supporting those women to take up leadership positions. So basically, this is what we do, because what that we know is we are not at the realm of lawmaking, but what we can do is to influence. And in influencing, we use our voices. And in terms of influences, it's not also, it's not limited to maybe to the state government, but it has to go beyond, because the people are in the communities. The people that we advocate for are living in the community, and it is our responsibility to get to them and then convey the message to the to the stakeholders that are involved in it.
Um, Madam Darboe, I made to understand. Let's look at this suggestion. They said the suggestion reads, it said, women are weak, with regards to taking up leadership, especially at top level, and that's why confidence are not there to give them that opportunity. What do you
Mhm.
say to this suggestion?
I think I bet to differ on that statement. Women are not weak. It's the belief that we have on women. Our society is built in a patriarchal way that women, we are kind of challenged when it comes to the culture, the tradition, and the gender biasness. Because today, when you talk about leadership, we always associate it with men. The moment you talk about leadership, your role as a woman will come into play, because you have to manage your family life and your leadership space. And if you're unable to manage those two things, you are level. That you are more focused on the worldly life things, let me quote, instead of your personal growth with the family and your religion. It's just a misconception that people have. But I feel like when the society, we unlearn some of the things that are happening, we can actually change a lot. Women are actually strong because the fact is when women are given the opportunity to lead, the administration does not only end with them, they expand. Because, for example, today you talk about a mother. The mother don't focus on only herself. The mother had to focus on her husband. She has to focus on her family. She has to focus on her children. So remember, empowering that particular individual, it's like you're empowering three particular people that are surrounding that individual. So if we are to term women as weak, it's something that you know that is supposed not to be, because women are strong, because the kind of struggle that women go through, yet they present themselves as a very strong individual that can actually address a lot of challenging issues that people would not even know about.
What do you say to this suggestion, Madam Darboe, once again, that women, they have problems once they are leading the male-dominated position? They tend to be otherwise in terms of their responsibility. Like they want to show superiority. They want to be superior, or they want to show that class as far as their functions are concerned. What do you say to this suggestion? And as a result of that,
Mhm.
many are not confident giving them the position, especially where the males are dominated. What do you say to the suggestion?
I think for me, that's just a misconception, because um, giving women equal opportunities with men, it boasts um, their capacity, it boasts their standard. Actually, because when you find yourself in the midst of hundreds of people, it's your responsibility to boast up, not actually as a weapon to attack, but as individual that is going to address the issues that are at hand. I think it's high time for us to also focus on the subject matters of issues at the office, for example, at the office level. We can just take an example from ourselves. Today, I might be given an opportunity to lead an institution, but people will
Okay.
not focus on the tasks that are given to me. But what we are interested in is what am I going to put on? How am I going to talk in the midst of people? When actually they should be focused on how am I able to attain the goal that I presented to them? How do I do it? How sustainable is it? How impactful is that? That is where our intervention, our observations should be on. Not on the physical appearance, not on how we dress, not on how we speak, but then what is the impact that we are creating?
So far, we have women that are holding key position in this country.
Mhm,
When you look at the judicial setting,
mhm,
especially when you let's go to the court, the
mhm.
Supreme Court of the Gambia, it comprises, you have some women that are actually part of the theme that comprise of the superior court.
Mhm.
Let's look at the some of the ministerial positions that are currently in this country. We have some women that are taking lead. Let's go to the area of education. The
Yes,
former, okay, we have a Dr. Habibatu Drame,
yes,
leading that particular ministry.
yes.
How confident are you as far as this women's leadership is concerned? How confident are you in the next 5 years? Are you seeing a different trajectory in the women's participation?
Of course I am. I mean, giving one woman a power is equivalent to giving 10 men a power. So let's just begin from that. Because looking at
Okay,
Dr. Habibatu's appointment, I mean, it gave me joy because this is an individual that is not self-centered, looking at
okay,
her track records and also
okay,
our interactions from the university level and to where she is, you will actually know um, her impact will greatly be felt in the long run, because it is
okay,
already, yes, because she's so focused, she's action minded, she's resource oriented, and she is so determined in her development space, because this is some of the few things that we can, and an individual that balanced their life and their professional life is something that we all need to be commendable for that, because women have so many responsibilities. I'm not saying that men are not responsible. They are. Men are our fathers, they are our brothers, they are our husbands, but then they are partners. But
Okay.
considering what we do at home, you have your commitments at home, you have your commitments at the office, trying to balance those two. This is not a simple job or a simple task. This is a whole, if somebody is to pay me, the kind of work that I do at home should be far more than the kind of money that I earn from my workspace. But then women are doing immensely great. And I'm so happy that those that are at the realm of the institutions are setting the bar high compared to before. At least we have seen women taking up leadership position. Gradually, we are going to get there. But so long we have existing traditions and cultures that are undermining women leadership and development, we still have a lot to do on that aspect.
Thank you so very much for putting that part. Our viewers, if you are just joining us, I am Usman E. Kamara, the host of this Enlightenment program. And of course, my guest today is Fanta Darboe. We are looking at issues of women in leadership. And of course, this program comes to you every other Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 4:40.
Mhm.
Once again, Madam Fanta, let's look at the case study of the United States of America. Um, Not so long ago, they held elections, and then, of
Mhm.
course, Kamala lost the elections. How
Yeah.
were you disappointed with the people of America?
I was actually disappointed because um, we don't value what we have until when we lost it. I felt like voting against Kamala was voting against thousands of women across the world. Not because she's a woman, but because she got the capability. Not because she's a woman, but because she got the technical know-how. And not because she's a woman, but because she got those values that can run that office space. So I feel like sometimes we talk about certain things. We always talk about promoting women, giving women responsibility, giving women opportunity. But when the opportunity comes, we never want to give it to them. Yes, that's the problem. We can just narrow it down to the Gambia. Today
Good.
we are talking about let's promote women to take leadership position. But I can tell you for free, when election comes, if it is 95%, know that all the 80% will be supporting men. In fact, they will use that as an opportunity to use that 5% against each other so that they won't be able to. So this is a problem. Like when we talk about certain things, we need to be sincere on that aspect. This is what we want. How do we? It's not about fighting each other. We are all partners. In as much as we see each other as partners, as people that are going to work together to promote development, then we need to at least encourage each other and give that, I mean, give each other that support that we all needed. So women
That's
leadership
fine.
is something that we all need to take up seriously. When we said let's give them that opportunity, the way we support men, we need to support women that way. If we're talking about the capacity here, how do we do to ensure that they have that capacity that we're all complaining about? If we're talking about the mentorship that they lack, how do we strategize to ensure that they have that mentorship that we are talking about? If we are talking about the norms and traditions that we have in the community that are retarding them from taking up positions, why are we not discussing about them and ensuring that we solve the issues that are in our communities to get to the national level? So in as much as we want to see women grow, we need to address some of these issues that are, I mean, disturbing us to take up the leadership position. You cannot say that, yes, women are afraid, women are intimidated, women are this, women are that. When we all know that, it's because the whole problem is coming from the society, because we have the belief that women are supposed not to lead. But then not forgetting that women, we also have our own issues. So sometimes it's kind of funny that we won't feel comfortable to discuss our issues with maybe with men, but we will feel more comfortable to talk to our fellow women about the issues that we face. So we should start supporting women. Yes, please.
Okay. Let's look at the issue of women. You just actually you started that part. I didn't want to come in because I want to bring you back here again another day so that we look at women's in politics. But you have actually touched a little of it. But we are just going to look at the surface of it and then we move on. The issue
Okay.
of women's in the area of politics. You mentioned that we look at election period.
Mhm.
Now you look at that. How many women are interested to come in as a candidate to contest, especially let's look at the case study of the Gambia.
Mhm.
Can you do you remember or can you remember any woman? Because the last time I checked,
Mhm.
was Aissatou, Dr. Aissatou Toure that
Yeah.
took up the bold step, and of course, Marisol. I think
Yeah.
these are the two I could recall. Perhaps others are there, but you
Yeah.
can just guide me. These are the ones that I believe I could recall, participating in
Mhm.
politics. So, what do you have to say about that?
You know, sometimes it's not about women not having the willingness to take up leadership position. Like I said, some of those women, like most of us, are always limited because of the belief of the society. And those that take up those that are brave to take up the initiative to lead face challenge on the way. For example, today, if I wanted to um, take up a leadership position, or I want to vie for a position, might be a national assembly member, people are not going. Most of the people are not going to focus on what kind of development am I going to bring. But what we are going to focus more on is to dig on my past history. And part of the past history, yes, we are all human, we are all bound to make mistakes. But our emotional level, men and women, our emotional level are not the same. What men can take and work with, women cannot do that. For
Yeah,
example, if I maybe I had a messy um, history that I once had before, the moment they put it in the media, it will actually kill my entire initiative to pursue what I want to do.
yeah,
And also, for example, a lot of them, for example, if you're married today, you want to take up leadership position, the first contact person that they would use against you is your husband. Yes, you marry a woman, you want her to be a political person. So if you listen to most of these politicians, their stories, for example, when they get when they first have that initiative to take political positions, when they explain those stories to you, you actually cry because the kind of challenge that they face, not a lot of us will be able to take it because you will think it's better let me just focus on what I'm doing than going into this politics before people will be pointing at me. And the other thing is the Gambia, the way the politics is also going is quite bad. We are not focusing on the ideology. What can we do to solve the issues at hand? But what we are interested in, how can I castigate you? How can I destroy you? How can I tarnish your image? And if you look at those things, somebody will either, be at peace than to be in the public, people insulting them. So most of the women, like I said, our emotional levels are not the same. What men can take and work with, sometimes women cannot take it. And like I said, also with regards to our culture is something that that is like it's a way of life. But like what I always say to people, we make cultures, we can change them, especially when we think that they are not addressing the issues at hand. But these are limitations that women face for them to take up leadership position, especially in terms of politics. And sometimes what a lot of people, their argument will be is capacity. Are we going to say the entire, the 50% of our population, like 51% of our population, are not lack capacity. We cannot say that. There are people
Mhm.
that are very brilliant. When you give them position, they will actually do to their utmost best and they will address the issue. But because of the mentality that we have, because of the culture and the tradition, some of the culture and tradition that we have, and because of um, our myth, because sometimes certain things are just myth. We just think and then generalize everything. So it's something that that is limiting a lot of young women and to take part in political issues.
Let's look at the women's group that are also fighting or advocating for women's participation or women's leadership, like for giving women the opportunity to take a lead in
Mhm,
institutions. Now,
mhm.
what can you tell us the current status, like the current efforts that they are doing? Can you mention some of the institutions that are doing, brilliantly well, or like that are doing an amazing job in ensuring that or seeing that women's are actively participating in leadership? Or is there any group that is, of course, pushing towards that?
Yeah, yes. There are a lot of institutions that are doing it. Even my current institution that I'm working with, West African Network for Peace Building. What we do is we build the capacity of aspirant candidates, those that wish to take part in political leadership. We build up their capacity. And we also have mentorship programs. And those mentorship programs, what we do is people that have been in the realm since the beginning, like the master of Rohimali Law, um, and some people at the National Assembly, the women, we ensure that they mentor this young one that have the passion to take up positions in the long run. Because we feel like sometimes when you have the capacity, it boosts your confidence, because and your professionalism. Because limited capacity can actually limit your confidence. So what we do, this is we ensure that we create that space for them. And there are women-led institutions like Think Young Women, Network Against Gender-Based Violence. They are all doing immensely great. And women. And the other thing is they always at the community level to ensure that they encourage women to take up leadership position. If they have challenge in terms of anything, being capacity, being finance, being anything, they can help. They might not be able, the institution might not be able to give you the financial support, but at least we can create that networking between you and partners that are interested in supporting women to take up positions in their communities and at the national level.
Is there any current issues that are affecting with regards to constraints as far as your these efforts are concerned? What are some of the constraints that you guys are battling in your this effort to bring about sensitization and of course capacity building?
Yeah, I think when it comes to intervention, the major issue, the major challenge that we face has to do with finance. But despite the limited finance, we always ensure we mobilize and go to the community. Finance is something that that it's quite critical and quite difficult to have. But then it's not always about depending on people. It's about the passion that we have for our communities. And another thing is the cultural norms that we have that are existing in the community. Because training individuals to take up leadership position is one thing. But another thing is the belief that people have in the community. Today you can bring people together and talk to them. The next minute you see them doing something different. So it's not about them, it's about the society that we come from. It's about the ideology that we have with regards to that particular topic that we want to discuss about. So, and something that has to do with the cultural aspect is another thing. You come to the political aspect also is another thing, because we have been advocating for the quota system throughout. Sometimes it's not about um, giving people like it's not just about bringing it to their doorstep. It's about creating it for them. Yes. So the 30% that we're saying, because today, if you look at all the political existing political parties in the Gambia, you'll be so surprised that some of those people did not even have 30% in their in their structure. I don't mean the mobilization aspect, because when you talk about the mobilization, we are the best in that. But we're talking about the decision making table. So it's another thing that we face as organizations that are into women empowerment and women leadership thing.
We are left with 5 minutes of the for this program. So I would like you to look at some of the area that you believe
Mhm,
your effort or your movement or the issue of women in leadership should be championed. Like, what area do you think the government should step in now so that at least
mhm,
the topic at hand
mhm,
could improve, or there
mhm.
could be a significant progress in the next few years to come. Where do you think the government should intervene in that aspect? Thank you.
So I think for me, where the government should intervene is with regards to the 30%, the quota system should be across. The government should
Okay.
try to continue advocating for that. And the other thing is support women in community level, especially women that are interested in political leadership. It doesn't matter which
Okay.
political camp they find themselves in, because at the end of the day, you can be in this political camp, but tomorrow you can be in another political camp. But what matters
That's
is
right.
the quality of work that you can bring to the country. If you have the capability, because also we're not talking about the quantity, we're talking about quality. So what they can do is to build help them in whatsoever way they can, build capacity, build finance. And finance has been another main challenge for women to venture into politics, because today when you
Okay.
want to venture into politics is money. So at least women should be financially independent. I know, but I know we have a long way for that in this country. But the government should ensure that they support women that are interested in politics, and ensure that the capacity building of women start from educational level. There should be that equal. Parents should be allowed, parents should be motivated to ensure that they build the capacity of their girl child. Because the earlier you prepare an individual, the better for them. Because if we are limited based on our roles at our homes and then the cultural values, at the end of the day, even you talk to me about certain things, I might not be able to take it, because that doesn't define who I am. And also, we should at least initiate programs and policies that are going to empower women in this country. Yes, please.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Fanta. Thank you so very much. Um,
Mhm,
Mr. Sawane, if you are with us, please join us quickly.
mhm,
And we really thank you so very much, Madam Fanta. And then we hope to have you back, as I said earlier in the program, that
mhm,
this is just the first segment of you and I, our discussion. And we hope
mhm,
to continue in the subsequent program. We hope to have you back. Honestly,
mhm.
you have dwelt in significant areas of concern, and then you have dealt with the topic accordingly, and the questions are also answered accordingly as well, which really excites me a lot. I'm also saying big thank you once again for making up the time. I really appreciate that. It's not easy
I
that you
know.
mention a time and then you have your guests that would respect that. It's not easy, but you have done a lot to make sure that you respect the time that is of course given to you accordingly as well. So once again, I'm Usman E. Kamara, and of course, Fanta Dabo was our guest, or our guest for this program that is every other Wednesday. And then we hope to have her back again another time. And of course, that time is going to be Women in Politics. And I hope Fanta will be ready for Women in Politics.
Indeed, indeed, I will be.
Yeah.
um, Thank you so very much. And Mrs. Up now is Mr. Sawane. Thank you sincerely for the technical support, and
Yeah,
we are very pleased that you have done an amazing job. Thank you sincerely, Fanta. That's our
Mm.
technical guy for today, and
Oh,
Mr. Sawane is
oh,
of course in the United States of America. Thank you so very much, Mr. Sawane,
yeah.
once again.
Thank you, Fanta, for coming again. Osman,
okay.
thank you again. I was in the back end just trying to like do other things, but you guys, did it. So a very interesting program.
Thank you. All
Thanks.
right,
All right.
from me, Usman E. Kamara, and of course my guest, Fantasise, and of course my technical backup man, Mr. Sawane. We thank you and then goodbye for today. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.